I mean, you bring up a lot there, but first the specific stats about player efficiency, you have to look at that, you know, in context, being that the game changed so much with each era. This era, the three-point shooting era, a lot of spread out basketball. So I want to look at numbers stat for stat. As far as Jordan in his early years, the only thing you have to know is before he even got to the NBA, when he was on the U.S. Olympic team and they did the tour against the professional players, he was showing out against Magic and Isaiah during those games. He was the best player on the court. I know this was exhibition for those guys, but those guys still had pride and they wanted to win. But he was leading a bunch of college graduates and college players against the best players in the world. So Jordan was a talent from the get-go. His last year at North Carolina, his first year in the NBA, and you bring up the triple-double run or nearly triple-double run he had when he was with Chicago and Doug Collins. I believe that was the 87, 88, either 87, 88 or 88, 89. I know that season he averaged over 30, about 34, 35 points a game. He's basically putting up Harden and Trey Young type numbers back in that era. So athletically, skill wise, it's hard to top him. And you mentioned the 6-0 in the finals when he had the team to beat. You couldn't beat him. Yeah, people who favor LeBron or want to argue LeBron, they'll bring up, well, what about the times Jordan didn't make the finals? LeBron would carry a screw-up team to the finals, but a lot of years LeBron also would have an easier path than what Jordan had going up against. You mentioned the bad boys in Detroit or Boston or someone like that. When Jordan wasn't making the finals in the East, truly great teams was even when he came back from retirement and late in the season of his comeback year, they lost to Orlando in the playoffs. That's Shaq and Penny, a healthy Penny. So there's no shame in not making the finals going up against that team. It's not like you're losing to Paul George or in the Indiana Pacers or you know DeMar DeRozan in Toronto. That's some of the teams LeBron has had to beat to go to the finals. So I think it's apples and oranges, but from the eye test, it's hard to go against Jordan.
Yeah. So is Jordan your GOAT? Jordan's my GOAT. I'm done with it. Jordan's my GOAT. Is Jordan your GOAT?
I mean, the game is still being played. You're asking me as of now, 2020, 2 months in. Growing up, I was sort of like you. I was a Jordan hater. Big Atlanta Hawks fan, Dominique Wilkins, and of course, going up against Mike, you're not gonna win. Even Meek left, and you get the Mookie Blaylock, Steve Smith Atlanta Hawks. You might win one game in Chicago as they did one year in a 7-game series, but you already know you're not winning the series. But over time, you go to respect the man, and he's the best I've seen. I put it like that. He's the best I've seen. He may not be the most skilled. He may not be the best all around. He may not be the best athletically, but when the objective is to win, score a basket, close someone out, play good defense, just defeat the opponent, I think no one can compete with his resume in my lifetime. I know what Bill Russell did, but even if we're going to take Bill Russell play from his day and say it would be equal today, he still would be relying on other great players. Those were some great Boston Celtics teams. And a contemporary of his, Wilt, might have been better individually, but Russell had better teams. I know Russell contributed to those teams, but being a big person, you're not the initiator of everything. So I wouldn't put Russell championships past Jordan. I wouldn't put Wilt individual success past Jordan just for the era. So it'll be hard pressed to find someone greater. Magic influence on a game is great, but you put him in another situation, that might not be the case. And I know Jordan, you said people might say, what did he do without Phil Jackson before Scottie Pippen actually became Scottie Pippen? He did just exactly what you said he did. He went on an amazing run, almost averaging a triple double for a season. I think he had like 8 assists that season. He ended up averaging, just going up against some stacked teams in the East. They had to figure out what they had to do to get by those teams in the East, and that was part of Scottie Pippen maturing and Phil Jackson bringing in the winning system. So it's hard pressed to go against Jordan.
But you're still not quite ready to call him the GOAT in the book of Big Game James.
He's the best I've seen. I think I said that. He's the best I've seen. I can't put LeBron past him. I can't put Kobe past him because Kobe and Jordan and Bryant would have told you Kobe copied a lot from him. Yeah, just his moves and just that style of play, even playing in Phil Jackson's triangle offense. You know, I wouldn't put Kobe in front of him, not LeBron.
Well, what about Little Lark Limit? You know, some people eat to go. Would you put Little Lark Limit in front of him?
Hey, those behind the back underhanded shots, I never seen Jordan do that. So and until I see Jordan do that, he might have something Jordan can't do. He might have a leg up on him.